Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 4, King of the Narrow Sea. If you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Nah. Anyway, there is a euphemism in there someplace, but I'm not going to go for it. Let me take care of some business first, and then we'll get into it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff I've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you feel like gambling, you can hit that bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All righty, let's get to it, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Give you enough time to run away, pause, whatever you're going to do. Ta-da. All right. Hey, Cheryl. It was an episode, I have to admit, Cheryl, but it was kind of weird still. I agree with Kit Harington when he was talking about, they asked him about this Game of Thrones version, and he said it's weird. And yeah, I'm agreeing with him. I mean, it's 4 episodes in, honestly, but still at the same time, we get the time jumps. This time around, we didn't have really a time jump. I think, I mean, the only thing that happened was, it was a couple of months there. So, I think it was 6 months that they had given, and now God, I'm blanking on her name all of a sudden. That's just great. Rhaenyra. So Rhaenyra was given about 6 months in order to find her own suitor. And so it's 4 months from the last episode. I actually had to do a little bit of math on that one because they said it was 2 months. She ended the tour 2 months early, and she was given 6 months in order to find a suitor. And her friend, who's now the queen, of course, Alicent, gave birth, and the baby looked like a couple of months old. So, you know, honestly, it's like trying to do math sometimes with these episodes just to find out how much time has fucking passed within all of this. But the whole thing is Damon comes back. He has, taken back the Stepstones, and he's been proclaimed the king of the Narrow Sea. He's actually taken back pretty much all the Stepstones except for 2 of the islands there, and he's been named King of the Narrow Sea. Uh, Pretty much by Corlys, the sea snake. He's pretty much the one that crowned him. No one else really. And so he comes back to the Iron Throne. He comes back to King's Landing, and supposedly, offers up his fealty and to the king, and says, "Here's another one to add to the throne." He basically throws down the crab feeder sword, hammer, and is supposedly, glad to be home, of course. Um, and of course, what's the first thing that he does is he has his niece, Rhaenyra. He gives her, tells her where the secret passage is in her room, gives her some clothes, dress up like a boy, and they go running around the town. And he takes her to a pleasure palace where he proceeds to kind of seduce her. And she gets into it, much to his surprise. But of course, since he's impotent, nothing comes about from it. So, and he takes off in a fury and goes out and gets drunk and leaves her to her own devices. In the meantime, Otto has spies, of course. We know all of this. We know that Otto really wants his grandchild to be on the throne. So, of course, he has spies following her who spot her in the pleasure palace and what she did with her uncle, and tells the king about it. And the king's like, believes him, of course. And Allison confronts her about this, and she's like, no. And she technically does not lie because nothing really did happen between her and her uncle. Of course, something did happen between her and Sir Cole when she gets back, and basically, yeah, she, takes him to bed, and that's it. Yeah, Debeth. If you watch the very end of the credits, they kind of do a breakdown of the episode, and that's where they say he's impotent. They don't tell you in the fucking episode, but they tell you afterwards. That's what the producers were actually wanting to convey. It didn't make sense to me either until I watched that, and I'm like, oh, so he's impotent. Um, I guess they were dancing around that whole issue. That's the reason why his wife isn't with child now at this point, is because yeah, he has a little problem performing. And that's why the prostitute that he's been with most of this time doesn't matter, doesn't mind, because she doesn't want to have sex with him anyway. She's tired of having sex at this point. So, you know, since he can't get it up, all the much the better for her. So, her maidenhood is gone. And I'm kind of surprised that the king didn't say, hey, you know what? Let's have the doctors check and make sure everything's still intact, because, it is of that time. But no, it didn't happen that way. Excuse me. Um, so yeah, and in the meantime, the king is still sickly. He still has whatever that fucking lesions that keep showing up all over his body, and yeah, some grossness stuff. And um he ends up basically telling Rhaenyra that she's going to get married. Well, first of all, he confronts Damon about all this stuff, and Damon's like, "Yeah, I did it." And of course, this pisses off the king, and Damon's in no condition to fight back. He's hung over, like really hung over. The king's got a knife to his throat and basically says, "Get the fuck out! I never want to see you again. We're not going to see you ever again." Um, And Damon actually at the time had proposed marrying Rhaenyra. He goes, she's already defiled, right? Why not marry her off to me? We keep the bloodline within the family, all this stuff, everything. And the king's like, no fucking way. Get out of my face. Don't want to see you again. That's the end of it. So he doesn't want his daughter marrying his brother, but he's okay with his daughter marrying her cousin. So she can't marry her uncle, but she can marry her cousin, because he's like, you know what? You're gonna go marry the sea snake's son, who is it'll strengthen our houses anyway at this point. And that's basically what he decrees, is that she's gonna go marry her cousin, and that's where we end off on all of this. In the meantime, oh, that was the other thing too. So when she's out on the boat and she's coming back into King's Landing, Damon's dragon comes in and actually whacks the boat with its tail. And that is kind of an act of treason that they don't really kind of confront in this. They don't say anything about it, which I thought was kind of weird. But yeah, so you could tell that he's still the same Damon. He was not going into King's Landing to be a different person. He is still the same person. He still wants the throne. He still thinks he deserves the throne, and that Rhaenyra doesn't. And the whole sentiment among the people in King's Landing, as they saw in the puppet show, is that no one wants her as queen either if the king dies, or when the king dies. And they would rather have the 3-year-old, 4-year-old, prince end up being on the throne more than anything else. So, which of course I think is going to bite them in the ass at some point in time. So yeah, so this is where we're at in all of this. I'm fairly sure we're going to get a good time jump in this next one, or at least a decent time jump, because she's going to get married. Oh no, wait, I take that back. I actually saw the preview for next week. We actually get the whole wedding happening. That's right, or the pre-wedding stuff where there's a fight going on, and yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of volatility going on right now in King's Landing. So not the best of episodes, honestly, and, so it's kind of funny. Um, so they made a show of it in the, the after credits, scene, where the directors and the producers are talking. The director of this episode was a woman, and the only reason why I say that is because she said sex scenes by women directors are uncommon. And she goes, the only thing I had in my head, everything I've ever seen has been directed by a man. So she says, I had to kind of get rid of that and look at it through a woman's eyes, which I thought was kind of weird, but also I get it at the same time, looking at it from a film perspective. And um, yeah, I remember it was just those scenes in the brothel, the sex scenes, everything like that. I don't know about anybody else, but my TV darkened during all of that to the point where I ended up, I have accent lights that I turn on and then I can turn off my overhead lights that I have here. So I could actually see what the fuck was going on the screen because I couldn't see anything at all at one point. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? you know, I'm like, it looks like a boobie. I don't know for sure, but yeah. So I found that kind of weird. And then, of course, when that was over, everything brightened back up again. And I was like, okay, did she intentionally darken the scenes? And also they're strategically placed, you get the bed knob or something like that in the way, and the post of the bed or something like that in the way of everything that's going on, and blurred out things here. And I was just kind of like, this is kind of weird. Um, and the only reason why I say that is because they made a big deal out of it, of her, of a woman directing a sex scene in this, which honestly, I know women have directed sex scenes before in movies, and this one just seemed odd. Anyway, that was probably more attention than it deserved on all of that. Um, yeah, we haven't gotten much movement on any of this either. It seems like Damon is Penn says my computer screen is really dark, so I really couldn't see anything. Yeah, it was really weird. I mean, so it wasn't just me, it just kind of everything darkened and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I literally paused it. I turned on the accent lights. So I've got these orb lights is what they're called, and you can actually dim them to certain degrees. And I actually use them for if I'm gonna do like movie night or something like that. I'll put those on as the dim lights and I'll turn off the overhead lights so I get like movie theater effect. And it works really, really well. And also, I don't trip over shit if I want go grab something to drink or something to eat out of the refrigerator. And yeah, uh, so but anyway, that actually helped quite a bit, so I could actually see what the fuck was on the screen. Hence, I didn't realize Damon was impotent, was to be impotent either. Never would have guessed. Yeah, it's they don't tell you any of this until you watch the, like I said, the after credits program, I guess you will, or the after show. Um, and that's when they brought it up there, and I was like, oh, he's impotent. That makes sense now. If you, I don't know, if you maybe gave us some kind of sense of this, that would have been really good as well. Actually, this episode ends with Rhaenyra getting a tea that the king had ordered from the doctor, and this tea is supposed to cleanse her of anything that might have occurred within, basically if she's with child. Yeah, moon tea, exactly. Yeah. Pence, I didn't think they made the princess look older. She looked 12 and now she looks 17. Yeah, I don't know. It's all weird. Um, this whole thing with, yeah, you can't marry your uncle, but you can marry your cousin, or I'm gonna make you marry your cousin instead. It just, yeah, I understand Game of Thrones, it's incest, it's the House Targaryen. That's what they do in the House Targaryen, which is just some weird shit, but still, yeah, it's uh, yeah, I know. So again, not the best of episodes, not a lot of stuff moved forward. It's still spinning its wheels at this point, and I understand they're moving forward as fast as they can. but I really just want this thing to kind of do a big time jump so we get to where we need to be in the story and actually move on to the greater story, if you will. But I have a feeling that it's just going to be this whole, who's going to vie for the throne? You know, who's it going to be? Is it going to be her? Is it going to be Damon? Is it going to be the kid? I don't, so. Penn says, I'm surprised he didn't agree to the marriage. Yeah, I am surprised too that he didn't agree to his brother marrying his daughter. Mm, yeah, I exactly. Penn says he obviously wanted to get caught. That's why he took her hat off. Yes, obviously. Yeah, he is always there in that pleasure house, so they know he's there. So him taking her hat off to expose her as well, he didn't care. As he said, we take what we want down here. Uh, and he was looking at it from a no shame point of view. And also, he was looking at it from he knew there were spies around. He really did know there were spies. But the whole thing with her, screwing Sir Cole instead, and yeah, and then I mean, so that's the other thing too that I didn't know was Sir Cole, that cloak that he's got on, that cape, the reason why he was gingerly putting it over the chair, that's supposed to be his vow of chastity, his vow of celibacy, while he is watching over the princess. That is supposed to be his vow of celibacy. And him taking that off is supposed to be a big deal. But again, they didn't tell us any of this in any of the story. It's only in the after story or the after credits, you know, uh, thing that the after show that they said anything about that. And I was like, okay, so that's what that is. So that's the reason why he was gentle with that. I thought it was just kind of weird that he was gentle with that cape. I thought maybe it was maybe given to him by his father or something, but no, it's supposed to be his vow of celibacy. There's just so many things in this episode that went unsaid, and it's bad writing is really what it is. It's bad writing, it's bad directing. Um, yeah, there's so many other things. Oh, and Otto ends up losing being the hand to the throne because the king finally sees that Otto has been manipulating him all this time. He manipulated the king into marrying his daughter. And then, of course, now his heir is, Otto's grandson. So his blood is going to get onto the throne, make it on the throne. And so he's like, I can't trust you anymore. I have zero trust in you. So we're going to take this off of you and you're going to be gone out of this whole thing here, out of the committee. So, and he also kind of hinted at that Otto may have killed his father to become hand because he says my dad was fairly fucking healthy, and then 5 days after he became the hand, his belly burst, is what he says, and he doesn't out and out say it to Otto, but it's there, it's out there that he is kind of accusing Otto of killing his dad too. So he has a lot of doubt about Otto at the moment, which he should have had earlier on, but he was in grief at the time too and didn't see any of the shit coming until he started looking at it from all the stuff that's been going on. So yeah, at least that part we got a little movement on. I don't know about next week. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the wedding party and have a fight break out. And I mean, come on, it's Game of Thrones. Every time there's a fucking wedding, a fight breaks out, people die, all that kind of stuff. So par for the course at this point, as long as we don't have another red wedding. I read someplace, I think it was on Twitter, someone was talking about that they went to a wedding and someone started playing or the band, the orchestra that was there started playing the song that happened just before the red wedding happened. I guess a popular, people know what it is. And yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Uh, so yeah, I would have walked right the fuck out. Someone started playing that shit. I just like, yep, see, I gotta go. Although I remember watching that episode, and when it was starting to happen, I'm like, no one else is drinking on the opposite side. You motherfuckers might want to stop drinking and grab your swords because they're gonna kill you. Yeah, I remember I was watching that with people, and I'm like, there's gonna be a murder happening. And sorry, it's just some of the shit I pick up on. What situational awareness. That's all I'm gonna say, people. Situational awareness. Anyway, on that note, what else do I have going on? The Reigns of Castamere. Thank you. Yes, that's what it is. The Reigns of Castamere was the name of the song, and they were talking about that someone was playing, that some band was playing that at the wedding that they were at the reception. At the reception is what it was, which I thought was pretty funny. So what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow is going to be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's the new live action Pinocchio on Disney Plus. I'm going to cover that. Wednesday, I'm going to be off. Thursday is going to be a double header. It's the Shevening with She-Hulk and the season finale of Harley Quinn. I didn't realize it was a season finale this week, but yeah, it's the season finale of Harley Quinn this week. That's also meaning that that's going to be the start of the contest too for the Harley Quinn pins. There you go. So you'll get more information on that, during the Harley Quinn that final season finale episode. And Friday is going to be Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Saturday, I'm going to be off. Sunday will be another episode of the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any of the genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it, and then we roll back around again to House of the Dragon on Monday. Penn says, I'm so confused. I thought Pinocchio was tonight. Nope, it's House of the Dragons tonight. House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon. Yeah, Pinocchio is tomorrow night, is what's going on. But there you have it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Go and take a look. Go over to suspendedfanimation.com, like Penn has up there in the chat. Take a look what's up there on the schedule. Also, if you look underneath the schedule there's stuff that's called future stuff, all the stuff that's going to be coming out. I added some more dates to that as to, stuff that's coming out. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out. It's going to be fast and furious. Yeah, I know. I can't believe that this week is the season finale of Harley Quinn as well. That's 10 episodes too. So it's been fast, but good. It's been really good. I still say Batman Begins Forever is my favorite episode out of all of this season. It really is. So, with that said, thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you for making it this far in the video. And if you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops that appear just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thank you, everyone. I will see you again tomorrow for Is It Worth My Time? Pinocchio. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out that you can't marry your uncle, but you're going to be forced to marry your cousin because that's so much better. Fuck if I know. Thanks, everybody. And also, you're in the house Targaryen, so it all makes sense. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get the boosters as well. They don't work without the boosters. and stay safe out there, everyone. Thanks. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night and have fun. Take care and bye.